everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at the new standalone expansion for Funkoverse, Universal Monsters. Now, Universal Monsters have been growing in popularity over the past years. Universal Studios likes pushing them. They're scary, they're classic, but they're also kind of campy and scary at the same time. And now they're adding them to Funkoverse games. So I'm taking a look at this as if it was an expansion. I know you can play this by itself. So here's what's in this set, and I'll be right back. The first thing you'll notice is the black and white tonality to everything. I mean, this is the one side of the board has that creepy castle vibe, and then this is the other side that's in the creepy castle, or the mad scientist lab, I suppose, probably in a castle. And that continues to everything to the point where, you see the crystals here are gray, that if it wasn't for splashes of color, you might think, and the fact I'm recording this on a green background, I mean, the whole thing has this really cool black and white background. I wouldn't want this for everything, but I like it. It's a neat thing that this game has. So let's talk about the 4 characters in the game. We're going to start with my least favorite here, which is the Invisible Man, who surprisingly is not invisible. But the Invisible Man, I can see why people would like him. He has a challenge 3, which he rolls an extra die if he's hitting someone who's knocked down, the jerk. He can move 2 and get the sneaking status card. So basically, at the start of his turn, if no one can see him, he gets an extra action. But as soon as he does the extra action, this is gone. Move 2, push someone 2, and people can only see him if they're adjacent. So he's immune to range attacks. That's kind of cool. I guess dislike is a strong word. I don't dislike him. He's my least favorite of these 4. Number 3 from my ranking is the creature. Where's this creature from? Probably some lagoon in somewhere. Anyway, he has a challenge 3 to one rival, and then a challenge 2 to another. You can abduct somebody and move them 1, which is okay. It might matter some more. And he also has tunnels. And he can move adjacent from one tunnel to another tunnel as long as they're within 5 squares. So they're not quite teleportation. And an opponent can spend an action to get rid of them. So you have these tunnel tokens. That's kind of cool, being able to move around with the tunnels. But I think it's cooler in theory than it is in practice. But you know what? We got Dracula and we got the Bride. Dracula, first of all, comes with a red die, which is almost identical to the gray die, except the gray die has defense. The red die does not. And that's because Dracula uses his blood token. So we'll talk about that first. While this blood token's on the cooldown track, he's +1 to defense. Whenever he does any kind of challenge, you can move it 1 down the cooldown track to add the blood die to your total. So whenever he attacks, you're going to do that almost every time. If you don't use it, though, it goes back to the 3. So essentially, for me, that means every 3rd or 4th attack, Dracula doesn't get the blood die added. But otherwise, he's definitely adding it. I also like that you can stand him up or shift him off your cooldown track. Well, that's a pretty cool ability. And he can pull someone in. And then he has this, I don't know how to pronounce this, challenge 5. That's crazy cool. And the cost of this is reduced by 2 if he targets someone who's knocked down. Yes, I know I just said the Invisible Man's a jerk for doing that, but Dracula's cool when he does it. I love Dracula, this character in the game. Yee. But my favorite in this game, and possibly one of my favorite characters ever, is the Bride. Now, the Bride doesn't have a whole lot of special abilities. She has grave robbing, where she can do an interact action, and then she'll get a Bride status card, which we'll talk about in a second, and a challenge 3. If you win, she gets a Bride status card. Why does this matter? Well, that's because these Bride status cards, which she hears, she breathes, she walks, she sees, incidentally, when you get all 4, it makes a picture, and when you get all 4 of them out, you shift 2 tokens right off the track, which is crazy cool. But each one that she builds gives her another special ability. Here, you can stand her up, and she can do this while knocked down. She breathes, do a challenge 3 to anyone within 2 spaces. She walks, move 3, and do a basic challenge. She sees, she can now assist allies and interact with things she can see 2 squares away. Once you have these all out, she rocks. Not only, she doesn't have 2 abilities, she has 6. And when you get them all done, you get to take 2 things off the track, which if you're working with Dracula, you can take his really powerful attack off. By the way, this is my new combo, Dracula and the Bride, along with, I don't know, Marty McBride. Who knows? Anyhow, I really like these 2 characters. There's also a couple items in here. We have the fishing net, which of course we know Dracula would use. Ooh, looks like he actually just stole a shawl off somebody. The fishing net is a challenge 3, but challenge 2, but it's range 3, and you can pull the person in. That's fine. I wouldn't use it all the time, but I would use the shovel. We'll give the shovel here to the bride. That's right. Shovel them. The shovel's a challenge 4, and if you win, shift the character, token, or marker to cooldown track down 2. That's like one of my favorite items in the whole game. So, go figure. Shovel's great. Fishing net's fine. And these are 2 amazing characters. So, I already showed you the board. It has, similar challenges to things that are in other games. With the flags and leaders and so on and so forth. This is a great set. Again, I love the black and white motif, the whole thing from the box. When I first saw pictures of this, I said, is everything black and white? That's just, I don't know, it's cool. It's just a neat thing to have. And I'm wondering if maybe in the future we'll see something like, I Love Lucy set. Maybe that will be in black and white too. But this one works really well. And the fact that the models are in black and white, I don't know, I just like it. And then Dracula's blood suddenly being red. Dracula could possibly be in my top 10 characters of all time. The bride is in my top 2 or 3. That's how much I like her. She is fantastic. And the other 2 aren't bad. I just like the bride and Dracula so much. So this is a great set for me. I give this one an 8.5 because it has 2 characters I like a lot. I like a ton. Has a cool shovel in it and a fishing net. Has the motif of everything being black and white. Yeah, if you've not played Funkoverse or you're trying to get someone to play Funkoverse, this is also a good start to see this. I love to see Dracula go up against Voldemort. We'll see whose name cannot be mentioned. Anyhow, that's the Universal Studios for Funkoverse. I'm Tom Vasel. You've been watching The Dice Tower.